The pageantry of an international, the United States, never having defeated Italy, looking to get a result today and play good football. Back to Genoa on the other side of the break.
Well, they love their football in Italy, and this is one of the greatest stadiums for me, the Stadio Luigi Ferraris, picked out by the floodlights in the seaport of Genoa tonight. Great atmosphere during the playing of the two national anthems. This ground holds 36,000. It's not quite full, but there's an excellent atmosphere here, and it's a chance, Taylor, for the United States team to make a bit of a statement. They've been to France and put in a respectful performance, lost the game 1-0. They lost in Belgium 1-0. Those were decent performances. Can they go one better than that here? It's a long shot, isn't it?
It's a long shot, but isn't that the goal? You go to France, you play in Paris, you play Belgium, in Brussels, and this is a good test for the players to see what they learned from those experiences, move on, but they got their hands full tonight.
There's Michael Bradley.
Loved it, New Jersey.
Yeah. He played here 2 weeks ago and got booked, and that booking earned him a suspension at the weekend, so he'll be plenty fresh for this game, re-established in the starting lineup. It's only the second time he started for Jurgen Klinsmann.
Yeah, but you saw the effect of Michael Bradley against Slovenia in November. His just smart positioning, the understanding when to play the short ball and getting forward, helping the attack going forward. Michael Bradley's got to be big tonight.
And so will Tim Howard. He might be busy. The goalkeeper winning his 73rd cap. He'll be 33 next Tuesday. What a fantastic goalkeeper he's been for the United States. Jurgen Klinsmann ranks him in the top 5. And this fellow really needs no introduction. Gigi Buffon, who's been around so long that Alexi Lalas was playing in these parts when he started.
I'm going to take the brunt of that when I get home to the States. Thanks, Ian.
He breaks Dino Zoff's Italian goalkeeping record, by the way, tonight with his 113th cap, Buffon. Italy not wearing their Azzurri blue in an all-white outfit tonight. The pitch here in Genoa has been relayed in the last few days as well, but we watched the training on it last night. Seemed to be okay.
Seemed fine. There are some soft spots, particularly in the 18-yard box. Nothing too bad.
And it's Italy who get us underway here. An early touch for the left-back Crescito. It's Ogbonna playing it back to the goalkeeper. He's winning only his second cap and plays in the second division for Torino. One of the new players being looked at by Cesare Prandelli, the coach, who did great things with Fiorentina and has started very well with Italy as well. This is Barzali. Maurice Edu. Edu and Boccanegra, of course, with Rangers, all the financial turmoil going on there. Now then, Matri with a chance almost straight away. Bit of a mix-up there. And the United States defence, that was a nervy moment.
Yeah, Clarence Goodson has to be aware that Matri, the moment that ball's turned over, Pirlo and Nocerino got knocking over the top.
Really was a fine ball as well. He's making his first start up front for Italy. Alessandro Matri scored a 83rd minute equaliser in the big top of the table game here at the weekend for Juventus against AC Milan, a game which was cloaked in controversy. Just wonder what approach the Italians will have to this. It's getting very close to the European Championships now, and a lot of these players will be looking to make a point. They want to make sure of their place in the squad.
Yeah, a lot of players are coming in here like Giovinco, like Matri up front. When there's a lot of injuries, there's opportunities for players to make a name for themselves.
Of course, the USA agenda is the World Cup qualifiers, which start in June. They're going to be against Antigua and Barbuda. Now here's Breck Shea, pulled into the squad late. Dempsey. Fabian Johnson, by the way, being used in the left-back position tonight with Timmy Chandler injured. He has been playing there the last 4 games in the Bundesliga for Hoffenheim, so it's not a completely unfamiliar role. But that is a change. Here's Matri. He's got his own fan club here tonight. Big night for him, that's for certain. As Giovinco will find little pockets of space, wearing that famous number 10 shirt worn in the past by the likes of Gianfranco Zola and Roberto Baggio and Francesco Totti.
Couple good players.
Yes. They've had a few down the years. More than a few. 4 times champions of the world. Italy in 1940, 34, 38, 82 and in 2006. In fact, Pirlo and Buffon were part of that World Cup winning squad, both playing tonight. Maggio, Nocerino to knock it inside. Motta, Maggio again, it's a good passing movement. Big job for Bradley and Edu sitting in front of that back 4 to track the runners.
And even Fabian Johnson's first start at left back, it's going to be very curious to see the understanding with him and Brek Shea, particularly when Maggio's overlapping down the right-hand side.
It's going to be up to Shea as well, isn't it, Taylor, to make sure that Maggio's kept occupied with the defensive part of his job.
100%, Ian. If Brek Shea's getting in behind, it's keeping Maggio on his heels.
Here he is, the player they call the architect, Andrea Pirlo, with his first involvement. What the United States definitely don't need is a morale-sapping heavy defeat. Hasn't happened at all yet in the Klinsmann era. Maggio loves to break forward down that side. Oh, Motta's shot was blocked by the legs of Howard. Pirlo. They look dangerous, Italy, here.
They look dangerous indeed, particularly down this right-hand side. Maggio getting forward. But Edu and Bradley got to keep an eye out for Motta coming in late. Big save from Tim Howard. Great reaction, but that late run coming into the box is a problem.
Tim Howard, important he got something in the way of that. Not sure he knew too much about it, but he got his legs in the way of Motta's shot. Barzagli has made a comeback in the last few months to the Italian fold after 3 years away from the squad. Well, they're quite happy to play the passing game in their own penalty area. You wouldn't see that in the schoolboys and girls coaching manual. Marchisio tried to make a run in behind from midfield there. Goodson was the player who cut it out. Jurgen Klinsmann said to us last night, talking to us, this game will be a reality check. I want to take the players out of their comfort zone, test them in this kind of hostile environment against a class side.
Good spot from Michael Bradley, clogging up passing lanes, getting out of a tight spot, releasing pressure.
There's the dependable Steve Cherundolo, who plays his football at Hanover and has for 14 years. Ten of the 11 United States players tonight are European-based. The exception is Brek Shea, who's the only player to play in every game so far for Jurgen Klinsmann. FC Dallas man. Edu to Altidore. Now Danny Williams is restored to the starting lineup tonight. Williams once again. It's cut out by Barzagli. It's worth reiterating that Italy did not concede a single goal at home all the way through their European Championship qualifying group. And that group included a game here against Serbia, which was abandoned after 6 minutes because of riots among the Serbian fans. Italy were awarded a 3-0 win by UEFA. Shea, nice passing here from the United States. They looked very sharp, I thought, in training last night. Of course, training's one thing, the match is another. Good intensity. There's Cherundolo again, back to the Hoffenheim player, Danny Williams. Dempsey nicely worked on that right-hand side. Cherundolo, it's a great move. Out to Bradley on the edge of the box. Terrific football from the United States there.
Yeah, good combination play. Steve Cherundolo's got to have a hit. Good layback from Clint Dempsey. This is a good run. Just whip this far post. Josie Breckshade knocking on the door. Good combination play from Danny Williams and Clint Dempsey.
He worked that nicely down the right-hand side. Very long from Bradley. Breckshade. Not the header back in that was required, really. Giovinco's pulled into space here. The ball not quite accurate enough for him. They're going to have to watch that, the defence, because runners are coming from midfield from all over the place.
Amen, Ian. That's the counter-attack that you're talking about with Giovinco, knowing that he can get in behind on that quick counter.
Here he is now. Giovinco lost his balance at the key moment, and there was an air shot from him when it seemed he might just dink that into the back of the net.
No, and you look at Tim Howard right now talking to Carlos Bocanegra. They got to have their heads up. Giovinco just having a little understanding, timing that run. Smart play from Tim Howard coming out, playing as a fit defender.
Giovinco, nicknamed Atom Ant after the Hanna-Barbera cartoon character. He's only 5 feet 4.5 inches tall. He's getting a lot of publicity. Plays for Parma.
One, two.
Jurgen Klinsmann was making the point, wasn't he, about how quick the players think at this more exalted level of the powerhouse teams.
Yeah, he talked a lot yesterday, Ian, about that thinking 2 passes ahead, not just what's the next play.
Nicely done. Fabian Johnson. In towards Dempsey. Shea! Well, it was a hint of a chance, wasn't it?
It's a good chance. And Fabian Johnson can come forward. Good overlapping run. A little hesitation from Clint Dempsey and Breckshade knocking on the door. The U.S. is having success with Fabian Johnson overlapping down this left-hand side.
Well, you wonder there, Jurgen Klinsmann, who actually played on this ground, not many times, for Sampdoria towards the end of his career. Both Sampdoria and Genoa play here. Maggio, there he is on another overlap. It's well defended by the skipper, Carlos Bocanegra. But Maggio loves to do that at times. He's almost like a right winger, as Arsenal found out when AC Milan trounced them recently.
He's coming forward at ease. There's got to be better communication between Breckshade and Fabian Johnson.
Napoli playing Maggio. Pirlo. Hammered out of harm's way. But not out of play by Dempsey. And still, the United States, unbelievably almost, have not got Clint Dempsey and Landon Donovan on the same pitch in the Jurgen Klinsmann era. This is the 8th consecutive game Landon Donovan has missed. The quote from Jurgen Klinsmann is, "It is what it is. I've moved on. We're moving on."
It's unfortunate for both parties, and I'm sure Landon's frustrated as well.
He's out with bronchitis for this game. And here is Dempsey.
Well done, Josie.
And you can hear Coach Jurgen Klinsmann on the side. That's what he wants Josie out the door to do. Big, strong target play, hold the ball up.
There's no doubt there that Barzali had hold of Altidor's shirt. Defenders seem to get away with that kind of thing.
It's a tough job being up front by yourself, but it's the little things that matter so much more. Holding the ball up, allowing Clint Dempsey, Danny Williams, Breckshade to get forward.
This is Marchisio, one of 5 Juventus players in the Italian side. Giovinco. Crescito breaking forward. The 2 fullbacks have license to do that because it's a kind of diamond they're playing in the center of midfield.
Which is fine if you're the U.S. and you win the ball. Quick counter, either to Michael Bradley or Clint Dempsey, you can break them down.
Here's Marchisio again. He did go to the World Cup. There are a few who've survived. Of course, Chiellini would normally be in the starting lineup. Tonight he's on the bench. So too is Daniele Di Rossi. Just given him a little rest for this one. We might see him later. 6 substitutes allowed because it's a friendly. Might be all change in the second half. Motta nearly found the run of Maggio. Altidore. This is Nocerino, who scored against his old club for Milan at the weekend. Said he did it with rage in his heart. He thought Juventus hadn't been too kind to him, letting him go without explanation. As you can imagine, the Italian journalist gobbled that one up, that quote. The talk was about that Sully Montari header that was definitely over the line, but not given.
You think?
For Milan. Well, line technology may be on the way. There's a big meeting coming up this weekend. Maybe we'll see some progress on that, a little belatedly, in my view.
It has to happen.
Barclays Premier League coverage continuing Saturday. Liverpool against Arsenal, cracking match from 7:30 a.m. Presented by Sonosite on ESPN2 and ESPN3. Make sure you join us for that. Liverpool is getting their first trophy for 6 years, and Arsenal coming off that 5-goal win against Spurs. Cherundolo to Altidore. Needs it to stick, and it does. Good hold-up play. Scored 2 goals at the weekend on his return to the starting lineup for AZ Alkmaar. Shea. Nobody'd come to the near post for him there.
No, but that's better for Brek Shea. Often you see him take players one-on-one. It's all about the results from Brek Shea now. We got to see more crosses coming in the 18-yard box, taking players one-on-one, creating shots.
No look in for Mantley there. I think his energy levels are up again, aren't they, Brek Shea? Just looked a little tired, I thought, towards the back end of last season. He had a heavy year. Done very, very well for Dallas and was in the MLS Team of the Year and playing every game for Jurgen Klinsmann.
There's no doubt about it. It definitely caught up to him, and I think this year...
But that's okay, isn't it? At his age, his stage.
That's part of growing up as a professional, and now the understanding of what last year was like. This year could be a big year for Brek.
Certainly will be at the Olympic Games, I'm pretty certain of that. Here's Marchisio. Really nice movement from the Italian side. He was such a washout at the World Cup. In common with England and France, of course. Knocked out at the group stage. Losing to Slovakia when it mattered most. Bradley. One for Altidore to chase. He's going to need, well, Dempsey usually to get up close to him for the United States to be super effective.
But I don't mind that run, Ian. At some point, Josie's got to take a chance. He's up front by himself, get in behind. Because now the defender's thinking, he might be over my shoulder, then he can check, hold the ball up, and allow the midfield to get forward.
Did score a penalty, his first goal of the Klinsmann era in that excellent win. The United States had away to Slovenia in the fog of Ljubljana. Pirlo. In towards Giovinco's offside.
That is such a ridiculous ball from Pirlo.
He can land the ball on a dime, I'd say, from anywhere up to 50 yards.
Just makes it so easy. And look at this turn. Good eye from Fabian Johnson, but Giovinco's close. But Pirlo just turning those hips, dropping a 25-yard ball right over the top. Something special.
Here's Cesare Prandelli, the coach. 5 years with Fiorentina and got them into the top 4 in Italy twice. I remember them beating Liverpool home and away in the Champions League.
And Ian, when you and I talked to last week with Giuseppe Rossi, he really talked about the sports psychology that he's brought to this Italian team, allowing the players to be more free and express themselves. It's almost as if the failures at the 2010 World Cup freed him up a little bit.
It's a different mentality. I think there was a lot of complacency in the World Cup performance under Marcello Lippi. Giovinco getting in behind again. They're going to have to watch him.
Yeah, he's not going to be offside too much. Bocanegra and Goodson have to have better communication there. Such a good little run right behind that back shoulder of Carlos Bocanegra. That's a nightmare for a center back to find.
Incidentally, the two central defenders who did very well in the recent January friendlies, Parkhurst and Cameron, they're both on the bench here. I think Zach Whitbread, who's a regular for Norwich City now, might be another player who'll be pushing for a place in the side. He's not in this particular squad. Tim Ream not in the squad. He's joined Bolton Wanderers in the English Premier League. So maybe the cupboard's not bare in that department. Bradley, fed by Altidore. Now Dempsey was in space too. Never arrived at him. Lot to like about some of the United States attacking work.
Yeah, love the combination play with Williams and Cherundolo down the right, Shea and Johnson. But it's the understanding with Dempsey, Bradley, and Adu in the middle. Who's going to go forward and support, and who's going to stay, hold the ground in front of that back four.
Giovinco, great ball towards Matri, but he is offside. The flag went up once the ball arrived at him, and the referee's assistant is entitled to wait that long. Wait till he becomes active.
It's this dangerous run right behind. He's off a little bit.
They've
But
got
again,
that right.
it's that little run in behind that back four, Ian, that's causing problems.
Some very clever movement from the Italians. Here's Breck Shea again. Just hobbled away for a moment there. Seems to be all right, though. Pirlo again. A lot of raised eyebrows when AC Milan let him go to Juventus, and he's been superb for his new club, who are pushing Milan hard for the championship. There's only a point in it. Maybe Serie A is on its way back, the way their teams have been playing in the Champions League. Well, most of them anyway. Shea. Fabian Johnson, who looks like he might be quite a find for Jurgen Klinsmann. Now Maurice Edu.
It's the left back position that everyone's wondering, but Fabian Johnson very comfortable going forward.
And he's a natural left footer as well.
He's played the last 4 games there for Hoffenheim in Germany. Looks very comfortable.
I thought he had a really good game in Slovenia, where they deployed him further forward on the left of a diamond in midfield.
And that was when they employed, 2 center forwards. Either way, when you got a left foot the way Fabian does, there's a spot on the field for you.
Pirlo. Chipped up. Giovinco is offside again. But my goodness me, can't Pirlo see a pass?
I mean, just a tight spot. Clarence Goodson looked to keep Giovinco on, but even a better job from Edu to see the play out no matter what.
Altidore.
That's big time from Josie.
We'll be learning all the time.
Ian, it's a little thing, but that now allows the back four to push forward, get out of their own end, have a little bit of possession.
Which they've done quite nicely at times here. Can they find some end product to it? Steve Cherundolo joining in at right back. Now Danny Williams. Edu's got some space here. But that Italian defence is like Fort Knox. The best record of any team in Europe in qualifying, with only 2 conceded.
And they're supposedly on the downturn. Sure.
Well, it's been the story. It's a tale as old as time, Italian defending. I think they regard it as a personal insult if they concede a goal. They certainly will tonight. They'll take that attitude, and it's worth remembering the United States have only ever scored 4 goals in history in 10 games against Italy, while conceding 32. It's not a flattering statistic, but all those kind of runs are there to be broken. Bradley to take it, Shea, and a half chance of a header. The attack is still alive. Bradley plays it in again, and in the end Marchisio is happy to whack it away. Michael Bradley was talking to us the other night and talking about the important for the United States team to have respect in Europe. I think they started to gain that respect all those years ago at Italia 90 when they held the host to 1-0 in the Stadio Olimpico. I was there that night, a tremendous performance. A few
It's
raised
also
eyebrows.
the, consistent times you get out of your group and show well in the World Cup.
And the goalkeeper, Tony Meola, today admitted to the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to him and Claudio Reyna, and one of the other players there, Desmond Armstrong, was on the admitted on the veterans ballot.
Well deserved. 2 idols of mine that I watched growing up. Great guys.
Marchisio looking to play a little 1-2 down this side. Giovinco, who's looked as bright as we'd heard. Now then, here's the opposite number 10, Clint Dempsey. Look at Bradley making that lung-bursting run from midfield. It's never found. Pity.
And that's the little thing Jozy Altidore has to be better. He's got to be strong. U.S. had numbers going forward.
Pirlo, Marchisio offside again. Mathley still wants to put the ball in the back of the net, but the flag had been up a long, long time.
How often did we see this combination play at training yesterday? Pirlo from a deep position, just pulling off that back line, and Matri just timing his run a little too soon.
Caught offside for the 4th time, the Italian attack. But you'd have to say, with all the movement, they do look menacing.
It's that little run, Ian, that little dirty run from Marchisio that causes a problem.
Barzali, well won by Edu in midfield, and he's found Brek Shea here. Well, there we are again. Just a little lightning counter from the USA. Well played by Edu to win the ball in the first place.
Yeah, and even a better run from Brek Shea. Timing that run to stay onside, getting him behind. It's that quick counter. Italy's pushing those outside backs forward, and they catch them in those little seams.
This player down injured, it's Altidore. That's why Pirlo just let the play stop there. Let's hope that's nothing too serious.
Looks like a hand. Look at that. Mike Piazza in most home runs as a catcher ever. 308 career average.
And he obviously...
Let me guess, you're going to tell me, though, that the English invented baseball? Are we going to have our first argument on air?
No, of course not. But he's a soccer fan as well, obviously. Why not?
Unbelievable hitter in his day.
was stepped on, I think, there, Altidore, off the ball. And that would have been painful with the old studs as well.
I can go down there and teach him how to tape his wrist if he needs it.
Well, seriously, you hope there's not a broken bone or something there, don't you? He's holding that a bit ruefully. And maybe that's just an impact injury. Altidore, understandably, looking in a bit of pain. Good time to tell you that, interestingly, on the bench, apart from Edson Buttle, is 19-year-old Terence Boyd, who's never played a first-team game yet for Borussia Dortmund, the German league leaders, but looks powerful and promising, and is just getting a chance to experience the big time, being named on this roster. He is on the bench. Pirlo, Maggio. Here's Giovinco again. He's all over the place, isn't he? Finding little pockets everywhere, Giovinco. Now you see him, now you don't, as far as the defenders are concerned. Barzali cuts it out of play. Major League Soccer is back with us on Monday, March the 12th. Portland Timbers hosting the Philadelphia Union on ESPN2, ESPN3. That's Monday, March the 12th. Make a note in your diary. It's 9:30 Eastern.
I'll be there. Should be a good one.
And halftime debate about what we might expect in the MLS season, featuring Taylor. LA Galaxy defending the title, and with David Beckham re-signed. Everybody, barring Dempsey and Altidore, back behind the ball. Nocerino trying to pick up Maggio's run again. He's not having to play much like a right back, is he, Maggio here, the Napoli player. It was Chelsea he gave a nightmare to. I might have misinformed you about that a bit earlier on. What's the verdict on the USA so far then, Taylor?
Good combination play coming down the right-hand side as we see with Cherundolo going forward, Johnson going forward. They just have been a little lucky with Giovinco being caught offside and Matri. They got to keep an eye on it. Solid first half. But keep an eye on Jozy Altidore. He's really favoring that right arm, wrist, or whatever. It's taped heavily right now.
Marchisio. Giovinco again. That's good defending by Clarence Goodson. He had to get a foot in there, otherwise there might have been trouble.
It's that little run, just hanging on the back shoulder, but a good spot from Clarence. Keeping Sebastian in front of him.
Maximum concentration needed here for the defenders as Pirlo plays his first misplaced pass of the night.
You won't see that a lot.
That's a collector's item. Still going strong, no ego, doesn't do many interviews, he's not on Twitter, he's not on Facebook or anything like that.
Well, that's not much fun then, is it?
As one of the coaches said, he lets his feet do the talking, and they're quite articulate. Big day today, and a reminder that the US women beat Denmark by 5-0 earlier on. Alex Morgan getting a couple of goals there. And congratulations to ESPN's Tony DeChico's in the Hall of Fame as well, in the building ballot for coaches and administrators. Well done, Tony.
Alex Morgan can't stop scoring.
Yeah. And of course their aim is the Olympic Games. No breakthrough yet for Italy, the 4 times World Cup winners and twice runners-up, by the way. 32 minutes gone. Here's Ogbonna. Criscito. Good little feather in the cap of Serie B that Ogbonna's been picked. He's lucky to be here at all. He had a car crash a few years ago. His car careered off a bridge into a raging torrent, and he survived it. Johnson tries to pick up the run of Shea down that side. The USA looking for a first ever win in history against Italy. Having said that, 3 of the last 6 games have ended even, and 5 of the last 6 has only been 1 goal in it, maximum. So the gap is closing. Edu. Marzali it was who cut it out. Breck Shea. The passing movement was good until that point, and then it was rather given away. Pity.
Breck had room to take it one-on-one. A little too unselfish, looking for Clint. Keep going, but the combination play that includes Jozy Altidore allows Breck Shea to get in behind the midfield running at defenders.
Thiago Motta. Behind for a corner kick. Just mentioning Motta there, it's interesting. I mean, he played for Brazil in the CONCACAF Gold Cup in 2003. And in the last year, he's been allowed to play for Italy. Isn't the CONCACAF Gold Cup a competitive event? I'm not quite sure how that happened, that Motta's ended up playing for Italy, but he has.
Yeah, we need to check that out.
He got the clearance. Who are we to question it? Pirlo. Criscito on his left foot, got a bit of meat behind it, but it's going to take something a bit better than that to beat Tim Howard.
Yeah, if you're Tim Howard, you have no problem with Criscito hitting the ball from 30 yards out, but Jozy's got to do a better job holding his feet. That's too easy.
I'm sure the Italians are thinking that eventually they will break the United States down at some point. But will they? And can the US just nick a goal from somewhere on the counter? That was given away, wasn't it, by Maggio? Dempsey to Altidore. He needs support around him now. Free kick's going to be given here. 20 yards out or so.
Right on cue, Ian. Talking about the quick counter. Good turnover for Breck Shea to find Jozy Altidore. It's a dangerous set piece.
So has somebody got a special in them here? Well, he waits and wonders, Jurgen Klinsmann, who was charming the media here the other day with his fluent Italian learnt during his time at Inter and Sampdoria. Well, this would set the cat among the pigeons if Dempsey could do something here.
But this is where not having Landon Donovan on the field and usually taking this.
Bradley looking interesting as well, and the wall is not the full 10 yards, says the Turkish referee.
Flynn or Michael, the moment that whistle's blown, though, I'd be taking it.
Taking their time. It is Dempsey. Oh, he got hold of that, and Buffon got his fist behind it. I tell you what, a yard either side. That was a bit of a tracer bullet from Clint Dempsey.
It's a great strike from Clint.
Bradley to Altidore. Goes down in the box. The referee not remotely interested. And maybe on a more competitive occasion, a rather stronger word with Altidore would have been had there. Here's Crescito. Two fullbacks playing like wingers for Italy. Motta. Maggio's long-range shot. Shevchenko. Quick feet, low centre of gravity. He's a handful, quite clearly. Boccanegra out of harm's way.
That's well done from the U.S. Clint Dempsey coming up, hits it very well. Good technique, landing on that shooting foot.
And that's Altidore going down.
Going down a little too easy for me. Josie's doing all the hard work, bringing the ball down. Be strong, knock it off.
Change in formation from the win in Slovenia. They played with Buddle as well up top in that game. But that would have been too ambitious for this assignment, I think. Dempsey, Altidore. Dempsey again, draws the free kick, which I think is what he was hoping for. Joint fourth all-time in the scorers list now for the United States. Clint Dempsey after his strike in Slovenia. And with only Landon Donovan, Eric Guinalda and Brian McBride ahead of him. McBride is here, by the way, tonight.
I played with Clint early on in his career. There was more joy to the game. He had celebrations. You know, the article with Grant Wall on SI.com, it really was interesting how he's got this business-like approach. You know, 16 goals in all competitions this year with Fulham, and he's wants more. He wants to hit the 20 mark.
Including 2 hat-tricks, by the way. Bradley with a little chip forward. Again, the fists of Buffon do the job. Italian goalkeeper missed most of the World Cup with injury. Didn't help them either. Here's the little man again, Giovinco. Now it is Alessandro Matri of Juventus. Pirlo. No problems here for Tim Howard. Well, as against France and Belgium away from home, the United States putting up a pretty respectable effort here. And I'd say they're more of an attacking threat than they looked in those 2 other games I mentioned, the France and Belgium ones, wouldn't you, Taylor?
Yeah, definitely. Especially on the outside, they've had good opportunities, combination play, more possession. Just getting in that final third is where Italy is so good with that back four.
I mean, I think the big project is to turn the United States from, say, a top 16 team to a top 10 team. Maybe it's a big job.
Well, you heard it in the pregame show with Alexei and Maka talking about that. That's why Jurgen was brought in, to close that gap. So when the World Cup comes around in 2014, the U.S. aren't intimidated playing the teams like Italy, France, England, and those teams.
And it's not going to happen overnight, that as well. But the encouraging thing is there's some good youngsters coming through. It'll be interesting to see how the US get on in the Olympic Games, which is an under-23 competition. You are allowed 3 overage players.
Huge game for the Olympic team tonight as they play Mexico and Dallas.
Yep.
Good spot from Michael Bradley.
Nocerino. Maggio. Matri. He's only got 1 goal for his country in 4 appearances. This is the first time he's been in from the start, though. He's picked up a little knock there. Carlos Bocanegra doing well, just getting the foot in at the vital time. He's winning his 101st cap tonight, the skipper. Not quite sure Fabian Johnson wanted that ball there. This could be problems. Nocerino, well won back by Adu. He's having a fine game in there. He's run some important tackles, Taylor.
Clogging up passing lanes, but you said it best. Danny Williams has to be smart. You want to go into halftime not giving up any chances. That's a dangerous square ball to Fabian Johnson. Good spot from Maurice Adu.
Just might have to be a little cuter in attacking moves to unlock the miserly Italian defence. Oh, hit by Motta as it dropped. Won a lot of trophies in his time with Barcelona and Inter, didn't he, Thiago Motta? A lot of injuries as well in the past, which haven't helped his cause. Crescito. Maggio again, not a good enough quality ball in. He won't be too happy with that, I don't think. Cesare Prandelli, the coach, will want better than that. It's a good sign for the US if the Italians just become a little frustrated. Jurgen Klinsmann will know that, of course. I would think he'd be happy enough, wouldn't he, so far?
But this is a true test right here, going into halftime, making sure the scoreline stays the same. This is part of growing up on the road, having an understanding, game management. These are the little things, the mentality that Jurgen Klinsmann talked about yesterday with us, Ian. Having an understanding when to go forward and having an understanding when to see the game out.
I think the job now is to make sure they make no mistakes going in towards half-time. We're getting close to it now.
Exactly.
And they do get to half-time. It is goalless here. Taylor, your verdict?
It's exactly what Jurgen wanted. Coming forward, they got to be careful a little bit with Matri and Giovinco off that back shoulder of the center backs, but the U.S. good combination play down the flanks. They just need something at the end of it.
Can they see it through, though? Can they close the show? Or will the Italians unlock that defence at the end of this? Go back to the studio now. Let's get more comments with Bob Lee, Alexi Lalas and Steve McManaman. Back to you, boys.
Thank you, Ian and Taylor. We'll be back to you for the second half kick in Genoa. Scoreless, U.S. getting the better of it. The latter stages of that second half. The United States have never defeated Italy. Will this be the evening? We'll take a look at the highlights, and there's something to talk about in a moment.
Welcome back to the Stadio Luigi Ferraris in Genoa. Half-time score here, encouraging for the United States, holding powerhouse Italy goalless at the moment. What developments, I wonder, in the second half. But in that first half, the big problem for the US defenders, Taylor, was looking after little Giovinco, who's everywhere, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was always peeling off the shoulder of either Bocanegra or Goodson, looking for those little seams behind. And the right back, Maggio, was getting forward. But the common theme here is who's playing these balls? And it's Pirlo. If the U.S. can put early pressure, like Macca said at halftime, on Pirlo, make him play short passes, that limits these dangerous runs from Giovinco over that back shoulder from Carlos Bocanegra.
Yep, thanks, Taylor. Ian Dark with Taylor Twellman in Genoa. And Jurgen Klinsmann relentlessly upbeat as coach. He wants his players to move to another level, as he put it, and embrace change. As Fabian Johnson, who can play left back or further forward down the left-hand side. He's got plenty of pace about him, big job tonight with Maggio overlapping into his area all the time. But he's playing in the Bundesliga every week, and that helps.
Yeah, he looks very comfortable, particularly in possession, but Breckshay's got to do a better job of being in a better position and allowing Fabian Johnson to mark up.
Montalivo, Ricardo Montalivo of Fiorentina has come on, and so too for his 50th cap as Giorgio Chiellini to play in central defence. Nocerino has come off, and so too Criscito at half-time. Remember, 6 substitutions each allowed, as far as I can see. None so far for the US. On the bench, Jonathan Spector, Michael Parkhurst, Jeff Cameron of Houston Dynamo, Sasha Kljestan, Edson Buddle, and the 19-year-old Terence Boyd. Not much impact so far for Alessandro Matri, who was hitting the headlines at the weekend with his goal for Juventus and had another good one disallowed by the look of things.
Yeah, but he's just etching on that last line of defense. The U.S. has to do a better job of putting pressure on Pirlo so he can't just knock those balls over the top.
Of course, the Italians without Antonio Cassano, their top scorer in qualifying. He's had an operation for a minor heart defect. Good luck to him. He's been visiting the squad this week. And also Giuseppe Rossi, the American-born striker. Might be touch and go whether he makes it in time after his knee ligament injury. He's back in light training. Good luck to him.
Yeah, great conversation we had a week ago with him, and you just root hard for him. It's a tough injury, and it was very interesting to hear him say he didn't set any goals, just one day at a time.
The story of those 2 away games we were mentioning, away to France and Belgium, who were quite a talented side themselves, was that the US did well up to a point, and then about halfway through the second half, they conceded.
Yeah, you got to think that Coach Jurgen and his staff talked about this spot right here. Montalivo, Pirlo, finding that deep spot. They got to put pressure on that early.
Cut out by Johnson, who's sticking to his task pretty well there at left back. The US at the moment without Kuch Onyewu, the central defender. He's out injured, quite a few in fact. Jose Torres, Donovan himself, Jermaine Jones, Kyle Beckerman's not here, Timmy Chandler. Beckerman's been pretty much automatic pick in the holding midfield role so far, the Real Salt Lake player. Barzali towards Matri. Barzali's trying to get the ball in against Cherundolo, watchful with the header away. The US have only scored 7 goals in 9 games under Jurgen Klinsmann, but they've only let in 7 as well.
Keep in mind, though, 3 of those were in 1 game.
Yeah. Goal scoring's been a problem. They're working on that. Johnson. Altidor's pulled out wide. A bit of a disappointment, really, that. Now then, Thiago Motta. He's come close a couple of times for Italy. Quite a group the Italians have. It starts with a game against the European and world champions Spain in Gdansk. One of the games of the tournament early on the 10th of June. It's all live, by the way, with us on ESPN. Make sure you're around for that in the summer. Pirlo, Giovinco flags up again. Good discipline to keep catching him offside like this. Woo.
Yeah, and a good spot from Carlos Bocanegra to come forward, but Fabian Johnson's a little late on that.
That was close. That looked about level.
You know the type of runs that Sebastian Giovinco is going to make, but it's got to be quicker pressure on that ball.
Here is Pirlo. Naka was saying at half-time they just need to put him under a little bit more pressure on the ball. Oh, look at Giovinco, he's got offside again. Flags up again. It's getting frustrating, this, for the Italian crowd, because every time he springs from midfield, that flag's going up.
Yeah, but there's got to be a better understanding from the Americans. This came all the way from deep in the Italian zone. If Clint Dempsey and Josie Altidore are going to put pressure up high, the midfield and back four got to go with them. Way too easy for the Italians to get a chance.
The Parma man, frustrated again. He's yet to score for his country. Can only be a matter of time, I'd say. And what we've seen tonight, somebody is going to cop it. Here he is again. Dempsey. Breck Shea celebrated his 22nd birthday yesterday. Big cheer from all the other players at the end of training. Now the break's on here, but they've not got it right. It's given away by Montolivo. Cherundolo. Now Danny Williams, one of the growing band of German Americans in the team. Come a long way from Freiburg a few years ago in the reserve team. Motta. Oh, he's picked a very good ball. The flag's up again against Matri. That's the 8th offside of the night, Taylor, for Italy.
At some point, you got to be careful. That's a fine line. Montri's got to do a little bit better job of holding that run, but the U.S. has to be careful here, because at some point, Giovinco is going to figure out that line, and he's going to be in.
Altidore with a bandage now on that left wrist that he damaged in the first half. I think Pirlo trod on him, not deliberately, of course.
It's been a slow start to the second half for the U.S. Very little possession when they win the ball, getting forward.
Yeah, they won't want it to become just a survival job.
No, they had a couple spells in that first half where they had possession, getting it behind on the flanks. Nothing so far in the second half.
Ogbonna has been moved out to left back now that Chiellini has come on. Away by Clarence Goodson after Marchisio had played the ball in. Here's Marchisio again. He's capable of great things. I've seen tape of him scoring some wonderful goals for Juventus. But he's been pretty quiet here tonight.
Yeah, but this is a throw-in in your own end. In the U.S., it's too easy. Marchisio can come, receive the ball, and turn. He's only 18 yards from the goal. There's got to be better pressure on that initial ball.
Christian Maggio. Out to Giovinco. Pirlo says, give it to me again. I'll pull all the strings. He's been doing it for years in that Italian midfield. The fact that he was injured for all but the last few minutes of the World Cup, or Italy's World Cup anyway, was vital. Without him, they looked lost. Motta. Defending in numbers, the US. Can they keep the ball and break intelligently?
Good spot from Maurice Edu to draw the foul. Allow that back four to get a breather here.
The US with friendly matches coming up against Scotland and Brazil at the end of May. Then Canada at the beginning of June. Then it's into the World Cup qualifiers. Antigua and Barbuda first up, then 4 days later away to Guatemala. And on it goes through the autumn as well. Jamaica, the other side involved in that initial group. Played in towards Altidore. Can he turn and shoot here? Dempsey scores! Clint Dempsey puts the US ahead. What a shocker. And becomes only the 4th American player ever to score against Italy.
And against a run of play, but this is all Jozy Altidore. Does a great job at just holding that ball. And what can you say about Clint Dempsey other than he is hot? And when you're feeling it, all you want is a chance. An opportunity to get a half a yard. Great strike. A good run going forward from Fabian Johnson. But this is what you do, Jozy Altidore. Hold that ball, be strong. Good layoff. And what a finish. Clint Dempsey having an understanding to come back away from Jozy on the right and buries it.
The only other Americans to score against Italy, Aldo Donelli in 1930, John Harkes in 1992, and Landon Donovan at the Confederations Cup with a penalty. Look what it means to Jurgen Klinsmann. And Italy, who didn't concede at home all through their qualifying group of the European Championship, have conceded here to the United States. Out on his own at number 4 now, all-time, Clint Dempsey with that 25th goal for his country, ahead of Joe Max Moore now. Well, we saw the training last night, and Clint Dempsey, every chance he got, he put it in the back of the net in training, and we were saying, anything falls to him, I'd back him to put it in tonight. Well, there it happened. Is Carlos Bocanegra, but can the United States hold on to this? It would be amazing. Remember, they've never, ever beaten Italy in, what is it, 82 years of trying. Long way to go. Edu. Some consternation now among the fans here in Genoa. Fabian Johnson, I think he looks a real find. You know, he was involved in the build-up to that goal. Breck Shea in. Oh, he was in space there, Johnson. That's not cleared properly by Ogbonna as well. And now it's dropped to Michael Bradley. The Italian fans know all about him. He's played just about every game for Chievo Verona in Serie A this season.
What a great ball from Breck Shea, though. Fabian Johnson getting forward. Maybe wants to use the inside of his foot. Again, the U.S. have to keep in mind when Fabian Johnson or Cherundolo are going to go on the counter.
Matri! Looked like he got it behind, but that flag was up again. Goal arriving, by the way, in the 55th minute for Clint Dempsey. And the Italians are going to make 2 more substitutions now. They're going to bring on Gianpaolo Pazzini of Inter Milan, the striker. And Fabio Barini, former Chelsea player, will make his debut here for Italy. Another striker. Matri substituted, not his night.
No, he was caught offside a couple too many times, trying to beat that back line. But this just shows you, you know, Italy's going to push this game. So if the U.S. can do a good job of just possessing that ball and catch them on the counter.
This really makes this interesting now, doesn't it? Going to try and have to up the tempo there. Shea's challenge on Chiellini. Not a man to argue with generally. Here's Barini's first involvement. He's made quite an impact this season with 6 Serie A goals. The former Chelsea man. Last season he was playing for Swansea at the end of the season and played at Wembley in the playoff final when they got promoted. He's now with Roma. Here's the Italian corner kick. Montolivo. Pirlo again. The wounded tiger might be dangerous. Well, Italy were probably pushing the ball around, dominating the game and possession, thinking the goal would come, or a goal did come, but it came for the United States. Maggio. Montolivo again, a big favourite of the coach Prandelli at Fiorentina, as they were doing great things. He's normally in the starting lineup. Ogbonna. Montolivo trying to invent something. No, nothing doing that time either.
That's a good spot from Michael Bradley, though, and the U.S. doing a good job of clogging down the passing lanes. But Fabian Johnson hitting a good ball in, but this is what you have to do. Jozy Altidore being strong, but look at that little run from Clint Dempsey. All he wants is a half a yard. Cuts in behind Marchisio, looks for a little bit of space, buries it.
Altidore, who did so well with the goal, holding up the ball and teeing it up for Dempsey to score. The placement was everything in Dempsey's shot. There wasn't a lot of power, but he found the corner of the net.
The finish is great, but it's the run, Ian. It's the little understanding, that instinct to know that Marchisio's coming in deep. I'm going to drop off a half a yard, have a shot.
He just knows where the net is, doesn't he? Particularly this season and last, Clint Dempsey.
You can't teach it. Whatever that is, that little sniff inside that 18-yard box, you can't teach it. Whatever it is, Clint's got it.
Cazzini going down. Not quite so many goals from him this season for Inter, who've been having a difficult time. Claudio Ranieri just about holding on as the coach, but there's a lot of speculation. One newspaper in Italy this morning says Pep Guardiola might get the job. Now then, here is Pazzini. Found a bit of space. Oh, and Perini looking to mark his debut with a goal.
Yeah, the U.S. have to be careful here. Pazzini's come in, looked very dangerous, having his head up, but right at Tim Howard. U.S. can't sit in. Too much time left in this game.
A reminder that the U.S. under-23 men's national team play Mexico at 10 o'clock Eastern this evening. That's on Telefutura at the FC Dallas Stadium. Make sure you catch that as they move towards the Olympic Games. Brek Shea was supposed to be playing in that, but was needed here because of withdrawals from this squad. Well, can they see this through? It would be some result if the US are able to do this. Here's Dempsey. Only Altidore for company. And he's clever enough to just hold it up and retain possession. No substitutions made at all by Jurgen Klinsmann so far. It's Altidore again. Learning all the time, Jozy Altidore. Danny Williams. Deflected off Pirlo's head. That might have been problems. Really deflected into that little space behind his defenders.
But if your right back Steve Cherundolo is going to make that long of a run, you got to knock him in if you're Danny Williams. Allow that overlapping run from Steve Cherundolo to whip the ball in.
Montolivo tries to play in Pazzini. They've used 4 substitutions so far, the Italians. Not all the national coaches like these games, particularly at this time of year with it being busy with the Champions League still in full swing. But it seems to me that club managers never think it's a good time
they never
for internationals.
Whenever your players are playing games not for your team, I don't know any coach that likes it.
Yeah. But the rest of us do.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. That's quite a story boiling up here at the moment. The US leading Italy in Italy. I'm sure via the Twitter world, news of this is spreading fast.
It's killing me. My Twitter don't work in this stadium.
You're busy.
I am busy.
Steve Cherundolo up towards Altidore, did pretty well again there, won the header but couldn't quite find Dempsey with it. It was lurking with intent. Giovinco, now Marchisio, who's dispossessed by the hard-working Maurice Edu of Rangers. Of course, Edu and Bocanegra are wondering how it will all resolve itself at Rangers and whether they will still be with the club. They may have to sell players because it's a very, very critical situation with Rangers in administration. It's scarcely believable. I think they're getting paid so far. Altidore again, brought down by Chiellini, who's going to get a yellow card for that. He's proving a handful in this second half, Josie Altidore.
Particularly the last 5 to 6 minutes, just huge. Look at this. Just good, strong, big center forward. Unlucky because he's in. It's those little things. Those don't go in the stat sheet, but it's holding the ball off, being strong. Now you give your team a set piece and a chance for a second goal.
Bradley to play it in. Not quite the delivery he was looking for. Dempsey once again.
U.S. has to be careful here. Carlos Bocanegra is caught forward.
Giovinco. Look at Bradley covering the ground there in midfield in exactly the right place to break up that attack.
I can't tell you how big of a play that is from Michael Bradley.
He missed out. Pazzini taken down, and there might be a yellow card for that one. Yeah, there's going to be for Carlos Bocanegra. It's always in the second half the referees start pulling out the cards, isn't it?
Yeah, Maurice Edu's got to be careful turning the ball in the middle, but Carlos Bocanegra, smart foul, allowing the team to get back.
Yeah, I don't think you could have any complaints about that one.
I mean,
2 falls and a submission, wasn't it?
It's a good open field tackle.
Towards Pazzini. He's the player who first hit the headlines with that hat-trick, the first ever goals at the new Wembley in an under-21 match for Italy, Pazzini. Another one vying for starting places at the European Championships. This is very unfamiliar territory at home for Italy. They did lose at home to Uruguay in a friendly a little while back. But as we were telling you, they won everything at home in the European Championships without conceding a single goal. Daniele De Rossi is going to come on in just a moment as well here. So the big guns are being wheeled on.
They're coming on. And again, if you're the U.S., hold your shape, hold your ground, and then catch them on the counter.
Giovinco. Needed to be careful, Bradley, there, and he did. He needed to stand up because any kind of challenge could have meant a penalty there. He's so quick, Giovinco.
So quick. Low center gravity, but again, third or fourth time in the last 5 minutes we've said Michael Bradley's been in the right spot at the right time to clean it up.
It's a blow to Italian pride, this, at the moment. The AC Milan right back Abate is also being lined up to come on, and that'll be all 6 substitutions by my reckoning. Used once those 2 come on. Changed more than half the team. Johnson plays it wide to Breck Shea. Here are those last 2 substitutions for Italy. Maggio is going to be replaced by Ignacio Abate of AC Milan, who scored against the USA in the under-23 Toulon tournament back in 2008. Only a second cap for Abate. And De Rossi, well, plenty more for him. This is his 71st, the Roma midfield player. Brian McBride, among those in the coach. Just, you can't really see him. He's behind that rust-coloured bar, but you'll get the idea.
Yeah, and you talked to Brian McBride at training yesterday, and he talked about the whole experience of the 2006 World Cup. About 6-7 months after that, him and his wife came over, and he said he didn't really have to pay for a drink or a meal.
Yeah, they were genuinely sorry about it. So was De Rossi. He came, I think he went to the locker room, didn't he, and said sorry right after that, and was banned for 4 games of the World Cup and only came on for the last half an hour or so of the final.
No, and that stuff happens in games. When the player apologizes right away, you respect it.
Borini. Mind you, it was a bad offence.
Awful.
From De Rossi, a real rush of blood. Questions on for the United States. Knocked up towards De Rossi. Boccanegra won it in the air. Plenty of defending to do, I think, for the United States. Now Kljestan just coming on. And it's going to be Breck Shea who makes way. There's the Anderlecht man. Just trying to sort the substitution out. I think the referee's going to wait, is he, for that before the corner takes place. Kljestan called into the squad late. He's on now. Another corner. Dempsey doesn't think it was. Came off him, he's saying. You can lip read that.
It's a tough time to have a substitution. Kljestan's got to come in and make sure he knows what his mark is.
Goes a long way. Well, if the United States could hold on here, and that is a big if, you have to say, it would be, I think, a little landmark, wouldn't it, in the Jurgen Klinsmann era. It'd make the players believe even more in what he's trying to do. But it is a long way. Giovinco plays it in too long for Bazzini, who was in space. A better ball might have produced results there.
Much better ball would have produced a lot there, but Kljestan coming in back post in a good spot. Clint Dempsey's right. That ball going off the Italian player. Frustration. Stay composed, get a result.
Some 17 minutes separating the United States from what would be a historic victory here, and a very improbable and unlikely one. It's one of those situations, though, where if Italy got 1, they'd fancy themselves to get 2. De Rossi will have to do better than that. ESPN's coverage of the Barclays Premier League continues on Saturday with a great game. Liverpool against Arsenal, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. The time to tune in, ESPN2 and ESPN3.
some point, Ian, you got to think Jurgen Klinsmann and his staff are looking to bring someone on for Jozy Altidore, whether it be Edson Buttle or Terrence Boyd, but bring in fresh legs, someone that's going to hold the ball and take some pressure off the back four.
It would be asking a lot of Boyd, wouldn't it, really, in this kind of situation away to Italy.
I'm done predicting what coaches are going to do, though.
I think we're done predicting the game. It's Montalivo. Daniele Di Rossi. Back to Montalivo again. Now Abate. Ogbonna. Cuts inside and, well, it was speculative, and I think that was the kindest word.
Yeah, but again, if you're Tim Howard in the U.S., you'll take that.
Jonathan Spector, who's played 40 games for Birmingham City this season, is going to come on. He's been in good form. Birmingham pushing for a return to the English Premier League. And he is going to replace Fabian Johnson, who had another good game and was involved with the goal.
That's 2 games in a row. Fabian Johnson has shown well at 2 different positions. Very impressed with the young kid in tight spots, getting forward.
That's tonight's Gatorade Recover substitution, with Spector replacing Fabian Johnson. Goes straight to the left back role, like for like switch. "26 tomorrow, Jonathan Spector. Birthdays all over the place, including yours.
You better be buying me a birthday cake later.
You already got one.
Yeah, but it wasn't from you.
Here's Borini. Boccanegra cuts it out. Giovinco again. Ogbonna's cross. Pirlo. He'll be hoping they get a set piece. One of those free kicks. Abate. Danger here. And deflected away by Boccanegra, who gets a pat from his fellow defenders.
Oh, and Sasha Kleshin's caught here. Ball watching. Abate sneaks in behind, but Carlos Boccanegra, that's lucky that's not in the back of his own net.
But he wasn't.
Great play from Carlos.
Borini. Chance here. Fantastic block from Spector, who closed him down in an instant. Otherwise, that was the equaliser, I think. What a start for Spector that was. There'll be some tired legs and minds for the United States now. And Altidore's hold-up play has been excellent in this second half, in particular. Any pressure he can take off the defence will be very welcome.
No, and he's just got to keep going because Terrence Boyd's coming off the bench.
Well, they're going to bring the 19-year-old on. Here's the goal again.
And as a target forward by yourself, just getting in a good position, good first touch, but having the wherewithal to lay that off first time, allowing Dempsey to hit it. Such a good play from Jozy Altidore. Clint will do the rest, but that's a good second half from Jozy. Much stronger. Good assist.
And Boyd was telling us last night his hero is Clint Dempsey as he was growing up, and now he's going on to play just in front of him. This is amazing. He's making his debut for his country before he's made any club debut.
Yeah, but you heard Jurgen Klinsmann talk about Terrence Boyd and how active and strong he is for a young kid. Well, here you go.
Now that's quite extraordinary. Straight away, he wins a header. He's been getting plenty of goals in the reserve team for Borussia Dortmund, who are on top of the Bundesliga. So that's a hard first team to get into.
It is, but talking to Terrence yesterday, I've got problems with him being a Seattle Seahawks fan. He's got to work on that. He's got to come into this game and be active. Coming in as a second half sub, up front, consistently stretch that back line, fight for 50-50 balls, just do whatever he can to relieve pressure off the back four.
Boyd, whose father was an American serviceman, his mother German. Always spoke German at home, he said. Abate. Bocanegra is there, and it's deflected by Verini straight into the arms of a grateful Tim Howard. He wants that clean sheet now and that win, so does he.
Yeah, but you just get the feeling in the stadium, the movement from the Italians, putting pressure. U.S. has to have a little bit more possession here.
It is a bit of a smash and grab raid so far, but nobody's going to worry about that. I think any team that beats Italy away probably falls mostly into that category. There's a lot of defending to do, and you get the payoff for the good defending, staying in the game. Barini on the turn, blocked again by Spector. He's been bright since he came on, young Barini, for his debut.
He's had 2 huge blocks coming in, just finding Barini inside that 18-yard box.
So many players to call on Italy, but that's been just about the case all through their history. And there's a player down injured here, and there will be a little respite. It's quite tense, this now, Taylor.
Sorry about that, Ian. Having a little...
Gremlins with the microphone.
Yes.
You're back with us now. Good.
I'm here.
Montolivo, the player, down. From the wonderful city of Florence, he plays his football for Fiorentina. Montolivo. That's how it happened. Here's a piece of news that won't surprise you. Lionel Messi's got a hat-trick for Argentina as they beat Switzerland by 3-1. England are losing 2-0 at home against Holland. Stuart Pearce doing a caretaker job for that game. There'll be highlights of that later on.
What planet is Messi from? You hear the scorelines, you hear the stats, hat-tricks after hat-tricks. It's almost like he's playing a video game.
I'm very glad to tell you he's from this planet. Ogbonna towards Marini. Spector is there, fresh pair of legs. Here's Pirlo. No foul there. Pirlo wanted it. Referee was right on the case. 2 yards away. Bradley's know-how and experience in that midfield important to gain tonight as well, but the job's not done. It's Riccardo Montolivo again. Daniele Di Rossi. Ogbonna. Deep cross, quite easily defended really, but it's come straight out to Di Rossi. Did score against the US in the Confederations Cup in 2009. Di Rossi. Abate. Nope, too long. Di Rossi. I'll need to do better than that to unlock this good, tight US defense.
Particularly, Jonathan Spector's come into this game and been in good spots.
So they've never let in more than a single goal in any game since Jürgen Klinsmann took over. Apart from Slovenia. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, one. Beg your pardon. It's Barini. Woo. Danny Williams working hard. They all have to. The US need to get the ball a little, you feel here. If they do, a break could be on, but it's Pirlo. Another Spectre block. How many is that?
It's 3.
They're claiming a penalty here for a foul around the edge of the box on Giovinco, but the referee again was 3 yards away and not remotely interested. Chiellini. Goodson with the header this time. They're all heroes back there for the US at the moment. But can the wall hold? Abate breaking in behind, set up by Pirlo.
You can't allow Pirlo to have that much time to pick his head up and then knock just this little deft touch in behind the back 4. U.S. doing a good job cleaning it up, but they got to start earlier.
Pirlo plays it in, and it's powered over by Chiellini, and the clock ticks on. Goodson and Cherundolo there, the old heads, or older heads. Just a little word with Danny Williams. How big would this be, Taylor?
Huge.
The US can hold on here.
And you always hear the argument that results don't matter in friendlies, but it's nice to get some redemption for what you're doing, for the process you're going through. Italy on the road, I don't know if it gets much better than that. Still time left, though.
Decision's gone the American way.
Spector's done a wonderful job coming into this second half and just cleaning it up.
I'll say something, though, about Cesare Prandelli's team. There's a lot of talent here. They'll be a factor, I think, at the European Championships for sure.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
They might wind up, the way the draw's framed, playing England in the quarterfinals. Might. Everybody's got to qualify the groups, and every game is going to be tight, I think. Terrific competition. All live on the ESPN in the summer in Poland and the Ukraine. Montolivo here for Italy. It's getting a bit desperate for them now. Williams was fouled. That will give the US a bit of time.
Strong effort from Danny Williams. Arbona on his back, just strong, knowing he really doesn't have an option other than himself. Drawing a foul.
Now there's a little knot of US fans here. You might have seen them in our opening just before the kickoff. It's a long way to come. I can see the flag away to my right out of your picture. It'll be worth the money if it stays like this, because it will be one of the greatest results in US history if it stays like this. If it stays like this. Here's Barzali. Italy will want to get the ball into forward areas as quickly as possible. They're never going to hit it long, though. It's not in the style. 1-2 chance of USA ringing around from the far end of the ground here in Genoa. Pirlo. The looping Ogbonna can keep it in play. Giovinco inside. De Rossi trying a little touch there with a bit of flair around the edge of the box, but nobody really read it.
No, but Terrence Boyd being on the sideline, just holding the ball.
What a day to make your debut, though.
Unbelievable.
I mean, whatever happens in Terrence Boyd's career, he's never going to forget this, is he?
He's going to go back to the reserve team at Dortmund and say, really?
Knocked inside to Giovinco. Yet again, there's an American body in the way.
Well, at this point of the game, you're just throwing your body anywhere to get a touch.
Now here's Boyd. 2 against 2 here. Dempsey's up there with him. He rather lost control of it. Well, there was something on there if anybody had the legs to exploit it.
Yeah, Terrence just has to have an understanding. Go to the sideline, allow Sacha Kljestan to get forward, or knock Clint Dempsey in behind.
Complaint by PLO. Gives a very old-fashioned look to Terrence Boyd, who will know all about PLO and have seen him on TV and read about him and will wonder that he is on the same pitch as him.
Yeah, but at this point, you're not thinking about that. If you're Terrence, you're competing for every inch, fighting up front. Don't worry about that after the game.
Sorry, Taylor, 4 minutes of added time here, which is quite relevant to tell you. That might be a long 4 minutes. It might feel like 4 hours, I think, to the US players. And maybe to some of you at home. Here's Abate. Montolivo flicking it on. Pirlo again, looking for the right delivery. I think it was Goodson who won the header. Those two, him and Bocanegra, have been in exactly the right place so many times in this second half. They are manning the barricades back there. Good shout from Tim Howard, who'll go to ground, look at the maker's name on the ball, make sure it's the right blade of grass. This is the 92nd minute. Nearly there, but only nearly. It would too be a 4th consecutive win for the US after a slightly iffy start to Jurgen Klinsmann's reign. Montolivo, Daniele Di Rossi, Pazzini trying to turn, lays it off. Montolivo! And it was always just swinging wide. That might be the last chance.
Yeah, it looks to be. And again, give the back four a lot of credit, clogging it up. Montolivo just hitting it wide.
Edson Buddle is going to replace Clint Dempsey. That's just another device to eat up a bit more time.
Well, at one point, when Tim Howard knocked the ball forward, Clint Dempsey looked over to Jurgen Klinsmann. I think he was gassed. Another solid performance from Clint Dempsey.
More than solid, and a match winner by the look of it, too.
Yeah, but it's almost expected now from Clint. Just big time.
Buddle holds it up. Kljestan lost it, and it's given the Italians maybe one last chance. Berini, Bocanegra. He's not having any of it. Well, they're going to celebrate this, I think, the American players. Almost like winning the World Cup when that whistle goes, which can't be far away, but there might still be one last opportunity if Ogbonna can get this ball in. They need to do it quite quickly now. Chiellini still alive. Montolivo with another long-range effort, which is deflected, but only into Tim Howard's body. I'm nervous watching this now. Foul by Boyd. They didn't really need that. They needed to hold it up in there if they could. Do the United States just fine. I think the referee's taken more than one glance at his watch here. Cesare Prandelli cannot believe it, really. Jurgen Klinsmann knows he's on the verge of something special. We've had well over the 4 minutes, or just over the 4 minutes now.
Yeah, the whistle's got to be after Timmy kicks us.
Yeah, he's got the whistle in his mouth, I think, the referee. It is over. The United States have beaten Italy for the first time in 82 years of trying at the 11th attempt. Also the first time Italy have ever lost a match in Genoa. Clint Dempsey with a historic match winner. What about that, Taylor Twellman?
It takes a special moment from a special player, and often all it takes is one. And Italy had the run of play, creating chances, but good hold-up play from Jozy Altidore, and what do you know, Clint Dempsey knocking on the door, buries it. What a game.
Incredible stuff, but what heroic defending from, well, all of them back there tonight. Yeah. Cherundolo, Boccanegra, Goodson, Spector when he came on, Fabian Williams, Johnson was terrific, wasn't he?
Yeah, you're defending for your life, getting in the way, doing whatever you can to stop goals.
Okay, let's go back to the studio now with Bob Lee, Alexi Lala, Steve McManaman, who'll update a few interesting scores today from around the world, but one of the most interesting is right here. Italy 0, the United States of America 1.
You know, Ian, I don't think we'd be accused of being parochial, let's say, on a day when Leo Messi gets his first international hat trick, when Germany and England are losing at home, that the USA victory over Italy,
relax.
in Italy,
relax, Bob.
We grant you. All right, I know. Hold on now. We know it's a friendly. We know it's a friendly. It's an international friendly day. But that professional job of defending in the second half, the goal against the run of play, the Jozy Altidore, whom we talked at halftime, yeah. Yes, you called him out.
That was critical of Jozy.
Held the ball.
Yeah. He held the ball, and he held the ball in the critical moment on the goal. I think second half was much better than the first. This was a great result. Now, you have to go back, and we talked about this before the game. The result is one thing, but actually going back and looking at that performance. You know why I think this is a great game? Because I think it showed Jurgen Klinsmann, whether he will admit it or not, that this is ultimately what the U.S. is about. And it's all fine and well to talk about being proactive and changing the way that we play. But we are who we are. And I can say we right now because I've been involved in the history for a long time. It doesn't mean you don't try to improve, but I think some pragmatism has crept into Jurgen Klinsmann, saying this is maybe what is going to enable this team to get results, and we saw it here today.
Which means if you get a lead in a match such as this,
then defend,
you hold on
do
and
what,
you hold on.
What you do.
And Mac, what they did, and Michael Bradley,
brilliant
substitution of Spector, had that great, brilliant block.
Yeah,
tremendous defensive effort.
It was huge pluses today, Bob, whether it be Jozy Altidore, of course, Clint Dempsey, we mentioned before the game, in great goal-scoring form. Bradley, Maurice Edu, the defensive partnership at the end. Tim Howard, of course, made everything look easy. Jonathan Spector, when he came on, played his part. Huge pluses today. This, as I said at half-time, regardless of it being an international match, this is a very, very difficult game. Away at Italy, they've never won ever in the history of the sport. Italy haven't conceded in the European Championships. Full of confidence, the United States have got the right result, defended when they had to, and have come away with the victory. Great performance, great result.
And even after the goal, Michael Bradley was absolutely massive today. And
reading
yeah,
the
you know,
game,
you saw the way that he was able to defend at different times, but positionally, he wasn't flustered. He knew exactly where to be at different moments. When things did break down, he was in the right starting position to then go and find ways to break up plays and to win the ball. He was crucial today.
Playing for a team, Chievo, near the top of the table and having a very good season in Serie A. Out of contract.